Las Vegas, home of the absolutely just incredible Las Vegas Strip. This track specifically is home to many, or has been home to many series, including NASCAR and, of course, the Indy Racing League. But right now, it is home for the practice race for Screen to Speed, as the main event in Las Vegas, the place where this track is based, is coming up very soon. We've got a bunch of our drivers who have made it, taking on a small little practice session with a chance to just show themselves up before the main event. Hi, my name is Jamie Jessica Martin, and I am joined live in the commentary booth with my wonderful friend and, of course, one of the wonderful organisers, Yvonne Hufelar. Yvonne, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm okay, thanks. How are you?
Yes, absolutely excited. Of course, I want to say a huge thank you to Inner Esports for allowing me to hop onto this to try and help and try and broadcast this practice race. We've got about 11 drivers at the moment getting ready to race around the road circuit here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Not so used configuration, but it's still a relatively interesting one with a lot of interesting overtaking zones. Currently, the in-game sim is measuring this at about the track temperature of about 50 degrees Celsius, 26 degrees ambient temperature, with a 55 perspiration rate, partially cloudy with 3 km/h winds. So a track where the Ford Next Gen will absolutely have some interesting performances and factors, but we will move into what's going on here as time goes on. But I guess to start off with, I wanted to ask a little bit from yourself, Yvonne, about the kind of expectation we've got for these races today.
Well, the lap times are very close, so the qualifying will be very tight. Then there is a standing start, which will be already very exciting to watch.
Yeah,
And
so
then it's very difficult to overtake, but it's possible. And when we see an overtake, it's most of the times a very nice one. So I'm looking forward to it.
well, right now, of course, we're going into qualifying, a 10-minute qualifying, more specifically, for this incredible event. And I guess while we're waiting, as we're going through qualifying, I guess we want to speak about the fantastic opportunity here that is coming up. So if you don't know, Screen to Speed is being hosted by Inner Esports. It is a fantastic event designed to try and bring female racers, transgender and non-binary racers, to the forefront of sim racing, and to give them an opportunity to learn the industry and get a shot with a test drive in a Kelly Moss, a GTD Kelly Moss car or a Kelly Moss machine. So, of course, we will be heading to Las Vegas. This series started off with a very highly competitive time trial session, or a selection of time trial sessions that lasted for about 2 months. And obviously breeded so much competition. There, of course, was the introduction of a new factor, which was an engagement point, which helped reduce the time as time went on, off your eventual best lap that you set. The top 20, including some of the highest level influencers, have gone through to the final in Las Vegas. A fantastic collection of drivers, and of course, as we see Eris Aphelion just kind of drifting around that corner in the most spectacular Kenny Block style. It obviously, as a series, has been majorly important for really increasing the profile of these groups. And of course, how are you feeling? Because you're going to be there, Yvonne, in Las Vegas. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I have the feeling it's gonna be amazing. These are all finalists of the event, and they are all doing very well, and it's already an achievement that they reached the finals. So I'm very excited to meet them all, to help them during the event, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it, to see them shine, basically.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm a little bit biased here because a number of the drivers represent the team that, of course, I run, Prismatic Motorsports. So I am currently at the moment not trying to not show my little bit of bias, of course, for the number of drivers we have in this race, but I'm still very excited to see what many of these drivers can do, as I've seen a few of these out and about. But of course, we want to say a huge thank you to the sponsors for Screen to Speed and those that have been involved. Of course, for Performance in Esports, who have organised this event, Kelly Moss, Next Level Racing, Fanatec, iRacing, Recaro, and Yahoo. Of course, they have all contributed to this incredible event, and Pennzoil being a lead sponsor. Don't worry, I saw the big Pennzoil logo at the top, and I couldn't have forgotten that one. The Pennzoil crew, of course, leading the way as a primary sponsor for this event. So we're incredibly glad and proud of the effort that they've put in and the support for them trying to organise this event. Thank you very much to all of the sponsors. And of course, if you do want to win some prizes as an ally, then you can. Of course, there is the option, as you can see on the stream, to register as an ally. To do this, of course, you can register your social media to show yourself using the hashtags and essentially get engagement points. The more engagement points you get, the more likely you are going to get a prize. And of course, those prizes range from a massive selection of incredible options. If you want to register as an ally, you can register as an ally on the Screen to Speed website. That is www.screentospeed.com. To say that again, that is www.screentospeed.com. So as we're going through qualifying at the moment, after all of that, it's Sircha Fitzpatrick, the Irish driver, on pole at the provisional pole at the moment. 48.885 here around Las Vegas, and setting a brand new fastest lap, and 48.564. Emily Howe currently sitting in P2 at the moment, 3 tenths off. Olivia Hayward just set the third fastest time, 5 tenths off, at 49.079. A good lap there, not quite on the level of Sircha Fitzpatrick. Mind you, she has just been jockeyed for position by Esmeralda van der Naald, who is currently 0.477 tenths away from Emily Howe in second. It's a lot of jockeying at the moment. Roxy Gibson setting a new fastest lap for herself, a 49.172. And Christina Ryan overtaking her friend Olivia Hayward in fourth with a 49.079. So far, some sizable jockeying between all of the drivers. So, Yvonne, I guess for me, if I'm going to talk about some of the drivers, if you're going to be looking, are there any drivers that I think you're excited to see? You're excited to see what they can do in this race?
Well, I'm excited to see Athena because she won the first practice race last Thursday. So I'm curious if she can do it again. But Emily wasn't there. And Emily is also very quick. So I'm curious what is going to happen tonight. And I'm looking forward to see everyone on track and to see how they're doing.
No, of course, absolutely. I mean, I know from personal experience, Emily is absolutely lightning fast.
Yes.
While she finished fourth in the overall, she had arguably the fastest on-track time of all of the drivers. And I remember on the final day, her setting some ridiculous lap times. Mind you, I've been asking for many a year since I've known her how she can set some of those crazy lap times. But she just seems to just have pace in her fingers and pace in her toes. But there are a few other really talented drivers on the grid, and of course we'll talk about their profiles as they go on. I guess for me, we'll start with the driver at the top of the leaderboard, as we're currently awaiting for a new fastest lap. So right now, of course, we'll talk about Sircha Fitzpatrick. Of course, one of the European drivers who is going to make it to the Screen Speed event in Las Vegas. As Sircha has done an incredible job with trying to get involved. She has done incredible amounts. She is part of the team that we have here at Prismatic Motorsports, so I know her very well. But from my experience so far, she's done an incredible job in running. She, of course, has, in terms of roads, 229 official starts, 19 wins, 82 top fives, 28 poles. Currently on 182, that's in road, and in oval it's 182 official starts, 13 wins, and 75 top fives, an incredible conversion rate. Of course, as we know, Saoirse Fitzpatrick has done a mixture of different things, has been involved in a number of events, especially some of the most notable, the Rocket British F4 Esports Series as a first choice reserve driver for ourselves at Prismatic Motorsports, the first season hosted last year. Of course, has also raced in the in Jimmy Broadbent's 23 Hours of Zolder, and of course is a fantastic driver of some incredible TCRs, and has recently bought a two-wheeled vehicle, of course a Kawasaki Z400 motorcycle as well. So she seems to be fast on 2 and 4 wheels. So I guess, Yvonne, what's your opinions on Saoirse?
He is very quick. I already meet her a few times with a video call for an interview, and he is very quick and also improving. So it's good to see her improving a lot the last month, basically.
No, of course. I mean, to be honest with you, Saoirse has been absolutely fantastic, and there was a period of time, especially until the points kicked in for the engagement, that Saoirse and Emily kept jockeying for position the entire time, and they were both doing absolutely everything they could to jockey for position, and they were setting fastest lap after fastest lap in what I could describe as a forward-powered arms race. And they were absolutely flying and bumping each other off of the top spots. But it looks like at the moment the session, as the qualifying is coming to an end, with only a couple of seconds left, it does look like this is how it's going to finish. So, at this moment, it will be Saoirse Fitzpatrick starting on pole, Emily Howe starting in P2, Athena Leclerc starting in P3, Esmeralda van der Nald in P4, Christina Ryan in P5, Olivia Hayward in P6, Jewel Wolf in P7, Roxy Gibson in P8, Ruby Acosta in P9, Eris Aphelion in P10, and, Garnet Collins in P11. So as we're getting ready for the start of this race, of course these Ford Performance Next Gens, the brand new generation of NASCAR being used at this fantastic circuit, we're getting ready for the start. Once, hopefully we'll get a good launch as it starts. The grid is currently lining up these fantastic and powerful machines, and hopefully we have some exciting racing coming up. So if you haven't done so, make sure that you follow all the social media channels for Screen to Speed. Of course, if you're watching this on Twitch, make sure you follow In It Esports, and if you haven't done so, follow Screen to Speed on Instagram and on Twitter, both at Screen to Speed. So here we are, as we wait for the heat to occur. Of course, this is a heat race. We're going to have 2 heat races. And, of course, at this moment, we're going to see how this goes. Lights are about to go out. It's 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5 light, and it's go! And right now, it's Saoirse Fitzpatrick getting a decent launch right there. Emily Howe getting bogged down and swamped on the outside, with Athena Leclerc and Christina Ryan overtaking. And oh, it looks like it's been a spin from Saoirse Fitzpatrick. Athena Leclerc has led out of the chaos. Emily Howe has recovered to P2. Christina Ryan P3. That was not the greatest start, but Esmeralda van der Nald has made it through. Jewel Wolf currently in P5. Roxy Gibson's made up a few positions to P6. While Garnet Collins is spinning in the background there, has dropped positions herself. But, wow, it's absolutely incredible to see. Saoirse Fitzpatrick is going to have to come back on a battle. Well, it looks like Jewel Wolf has lost it going through one of the later turns here at Las Vegas. but it does look like the race is starting to mellow out. It does look like one of the pit drivers has gone into the pit, as Esmeralda van der Nald, who's gone into the pit. So an absolutely unbelievable moment. But right now, we're going to look at the two leaders after lap 1 of 6, and it's Afina Leclerc leading the way with Emily Howe in P2.
Yeah, Esmeralda van der Nalt had a jump start. I think she needed to do a drive to or stop and go.
I mean, that would explain that certainly, because I didn't see her involved in any damage or receive any damage or any impact, so I was quite surprised. But looks like Roxy Gibson has had a problem. She seems to have been going slowly down the section. She's let two drivers through. That's Olivia Hayward and Ruby Acosta that have gotten through, but she remains in P6 at the moment, ahead of Erisa Fellion and Sid Fitzpatrick, who's on a recovery drive with pole sitter. And it does look like at the moment Afina Leclerc is setting the pace at 49.259 so far, with Emily Howe about 6 tenths behind. Emily's going to probably try and start keeping it close. Being a heat race, and knowing Emily, she's going to try and start applying pressure. She's going to remain close, she's going to bide her time, and hopefully she's expecting Afina to make a mistake or Afina to push it slightly too far. That's how I expect her to race, and this could get very interesting as time goes on. We'll see how this impacts the race. So right now, at this moment, it is, of course, Leclerc from Howe, from Ryan, from Hayward, from Acosta, from Gibson, from Fellion, from Sisha Fitzpatrick, down to, looks like that's Garnet Collins who's dropped down another position. Or is that Sisha Fitzpatrick that's dropped down a position? Possibly. Not sure what happened there. And it looks like Jewel Wolf has lost it, coming out towards a pit lane into P10. Does recover the number 97 car, but of course not ideal. And of course Esmeralda van der Nald is a lap down at the moment after having to take that penalty. So looking at this track at the moment, we are lap 4 of 6 as it stands in Heat 1. It is Leclerc, the Canadian, leading the way. Of course, talking about Afina Leclerc, you've got to talk about the incredible stuff that Afina has achieved in her time as a driver. Of course, with Afina, you've got the incredible fact that Afina ran for St. Clair esports program back in the day, and did make and qualify for some of the split races for the eNASCAR College Series, and managed to have some races in the managed to make the big show, I believe, twice during those qualifying sessions. So absolutely, Afina is absolutely fast and has done a great job. Yes, two A qualifiers, but also did make it to the B main qualifiers 3 times as well. She finished 4th in the full 2022 Collegiate iRacing Premier League Series, and has also won the 2022 Raw before the 24. Currently 6th overall for Canada, 6th overall in Canada for the 2021 iRacing 500 fixed. And of course, a fun fact that involves one of our other drivers, of course, alongside Christina Ryan, they both were the first transgender women in eNASCAR and competed in the top broadcast on iRacing. Of course, that being the spring split in 2022. So an incredible period of time for them. And it looks like, speaking of at the moment, we've got Afina Leclerc still leading the way with lap 6 of 6. These two are going to keep going. I think Emily's possibly going to remain situated here. She knows she's just going to see how this race goes. Apparently, it looks like at the moment Erisa Fellion has crashed in the background, I think, or has potentially just gone off track, and that's dropped him back. And it looks like Afina has come across the line to win Heat 1. Emily Howe, P2. Christina Ryan finalises the podium in P3. Olivia Hayward in P4. Ruby Acosta crosses the line in P5, with Roxy Gibson now crossing P6. Sergio Fitzpatrick gutting considering that she started on pole and had that early mistake, losing it going out of turn 1. But she recovers to P7 after being at the back of the field earlier on. And of course, that was a massive mix-up. Looks like we're going into a warm-up at the moment. I guess, yes, we are, yes.
A little warm-up session before the feature race is gonna come. So if the drivers want to have a quick toilet break or a quick drink, they can, and then it's a 20-minute feature race.
A 20-minute feature race. It's done on time rather than laps this time.
I think it's set to 20 laps, but it will be around 20 minutes.
Okay, that makes sense. So a 20-lap race. So possibly here for that heat race, it was definitely very useful to understand what to expect out of pace here. And of course, if you succeeded and did well in that heat race, that of course will impact where you start off in this race. And the main race, of course, you have 20 laps to do a lot more. That means, of course, I think Emily probably sat there waiting and knowing there's no need to push this right now. The main race is going to come up soon. I'll continue to make my push there. But, of course, you can't forget that there are some other drivers in that collection of drivers that are going to be a potential interest, especially for the battle for the lead. Of course, the two drivers that finished behind in P3 and P4, Christina Ryan and Olivia Hayward, both of those drivers have extensive knowledge in oval. Of course, as I mentioned previously, Christina Ryan is an incredible driver who has represented, was the first one of the first transgender women in the eNASCAR College Series. Of course, starting the same race as Athena Leclerc. So they both share that incredible honour, that historic honour within the eNASCAR circle. But of course, with Christina, she started competitively racing esports on Gran Turismo with, of course, and has won a few championships out and about. Has won the Court Truck Series was the Court Truck Series champion in 2022A. Of course, ABN Champ Car champion in 2022. And iRacing Daytona 500 winner. She, of course, has competed in every eNASCAR College Series every eNASCAR College Series split start over 2022. Of course, she no longer can compete anymore. She's no longer eligible as a former college student. But she managed to start every one she raced in the A main. Of course, her best start of qualifying 4th, and she managed to finish a best finish of 12th in incredibly stacked fields against some of the best sim racers on the service. And of course, probably the most unsurprising fact, if you know anything about Christina Ryan, her favourite driver is the 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel. And of course, we'll go into the other stats at this moment for Olivia Hayward. If you give me 2 seconds. I guess my question is going to be, what's your thoughts on Christina? What's your thoughts on Christina, Yvonne?
She did really well the last race, and I think that if she can improve a little bit in lap time, then it could be very interesting when Athena and Emily are going to fight with each other.
Well, absolutely. I mean,
the standing start is also quite something, so that could be interesting as well.
It will absolutely create an impact on this race. I mean, especially with a track that's very tight and sweeping as this one here at Las Vegas, it's going to make things a lot more interesting to see what these drivers are willing to do and what they're willing to do to make. Of course, there's very little room for error, because as soon as they hit the tarmac, as soon as they hit the gravel on the outside, those cars are going to start losing rear end grip, because it's going to be the rear ends that are going to receive the brunt of the gravel. So you can't push the cars beyond their limits here without potentially losing the car. There are some runoffs here, but they will heavily penalise you if you end up using them. So you've got to be very careful.
Absolutely. If you hit the gravel, you're just a passenger of the car, basically.
Well, exactly.
You can't do anything. You try to brake and you're still going forward or sideways.
Yeah, it's definitely very tough, and it's going to be interesting to see how this impacts. Of course, the warm-up is finished. Sisha Fitzpatrick setting the fastest lap of the session, so once again showing incredible pace. Of course, Sisha will start further down the grid this time around, so maybe not the ideal situation for Saoirse, but she probably is going to want to use these 20 laps to really essentially bring herself back into this. So don't discount her pace for this race.
Yeah, and Esmeralda van der Naald could be very interesting also because of the jump start. She lost already a lap right away after the start because of her penalty, but I'm curious what she can do.
Of course. Well, we'll see how things go. Of course, the lights are about to go. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5 light, and it's go. And right now it's a slow start from Leclerc, who's fell right down the grid. Emily Howe has taken the lead. Christina Ryan there, and that was awful. Absolutely awful for Rafina Leclerc there, just bogged down in traffic, and there's incidents all over the place as these cars are travelling through a shortcut there from, I think it was Esmeralda van der Naald. But that is the worst potential start. But it looks like Emily Howe has spun as well. She's in trouble. I'm interested to see what happened, but it does look like there were a few incidents there. Emily Howe, Eris Aphelion, Garnet Collins, all seeming to get caught up in incidents around the same time. Ruby Acosta not long after, and that's absolutely mental. And that means that Christina Ryan, we were just talking about her before the session, is now currently in a good position to just start marching away. I mean, she already has done. She's got a 1.8 second gap, which is incredible at this moment. And there's, of course, Roxy Gibson here as well, currently in P2, under pressure from Olivia Hayward. Olivia at this moment currently just sitting a couple of tenths back, but is trying to keep a hold of the limits there, going a little bit wide a bit further on. So I guess for me, after that start, who do you think has made probably the biggest start in terms of those drivers you want?
Ooh, I think Esmeralda van der Naald came from last, is now P5. So she made an incredible start. I'm just looking everything back, and it turns out that Emily went to lead, and she spun it around just after the corner.
Right. Okay, so just lost it on her own accord.
Yes.
Well, she has managed to recover to P3, so that definitely is not completely out of the question that she can bring that back, especially if Christina Ryan makes an error. But so far, Christina has not put a foot wrong. Olivia Hayward now up to P2, of course, as you might have seen on track. Roxy Gibson losing it coming out the final corner. And it looks like Roxy Gibson has actually had an incident a bit further down. But that's interesting to see. Of course, there's a 20-lap race so far, so anything can happen. Garnet Collins currently in P11, looks like in the pit and has gone through the pit exit. Christina Ryan is just lapping at the moment, a 49.493, but don't forget that Emily Howe's just set the fastest lap of the race, a 49.241. So an incredible lap there from Emily Howe. So don't count your chickens before they hatch, but so far it's looking very good for Christina Ryan.
Yeah, and I think it's here easier to defend than overtake.
Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, I would definitely say so, because with here you're going to have to be cautious, because of course these are very wide cars, these next gens, on a very short track, and like we mentioned a little bit earlier, you've got gravel on a lot of these sides, on both sides of the circuit. There's not so much space that you can exploit, and while these next gen cars have probably some of the most aerodynamic features that you'll find. Oh, it looks like Olivia Hayward's gone wide there and loses it coming out of turn 1. And Emily Howe is on a recovery charge right now and is now going to have to try and build that gap back down to Christina. But that was a massive loss, just a mistake there from Olivia Hayward, dropping her back to P6. But as it stands at this moment, we're looking at as we go along. Of course, Christina Ryan leading the race at the moment, has stayed out of trouble and has just built up that lead in the number 80 car. Emily Howe currently in P2 after a bad start where she absolutely took it well off of the line. And she got caught up and lost it in one of the earlier sections. And because of that, managed to recover. Esmeralda van der Nald currently in P3, a fantastic recovery at the moment, the big winner so far, currently sitting in the podium position. Of course, Jewel Wolf in P4, rough heat, but I tell you what, Jewel has kept things together in this race right here, currently in P4. Athena, she had an absolutely horrific start, dropping her back and from pole after that heat race win. But she is trying to see what inroads that she can make, so we'll see how things go. Olivia Hayward currently at the heights, was at the heights of P2 a little bit earlier. Unfortunately, that mistake costing Hayward. Same with Roxy Gibson, who made a mistake and is currently coming under pressure from Ruby Acosta in the number 40. So don't forget that. And of course, 48.9, looks like Athena Leclerc is now starting to lap fast, but so is Emily Howe. Wow, I mean, they just took the fastest lap, one off another. They're an incredible lap time. Sisha Fitzpatrick is out. Garnet Collins currently is trying to recover. Sisha Fitzpatrick's in pit lane. Unfortunate there for one of the fastest lap setters here. Of course, during the qualifying and during the warm-up, just not having the luck when it comes to on track. And Harrison Fellion, it's currently out at the moment, unfortunately, so not being able to finish this race. So as it stands now, we're just waiting to see what inroads these teams can make. Of course, right now it is Christina Ryan leading the way, but that gap has come down. We've already lost about a second of gap. So that pace is starting to become a problem for Christina Ryan. And this is where these two, knowing them from my experience, knowing what they can do, what they can achieve, this is where the mental games are going to start to begin. Christina Ryan is going to have to, if she's going to win this battle, not care about what Emily Howe is doing. Emily Howe is just a mirage in the background, has no impact on her race here. She just doesn't need to worry. No matter how close she gets, she just needs to run her own race. While Emily has to get in her head. That gap needs to come down, and Emily needs to start doing what I know she does best, applying pressure, making the most of opportunities, and putting the driver behind a bit, making them hesitant, making them more likely to make mistakes because they feel the intensity of the pressure coming from behind. That's going to be the important battle between these two, and both of these drivers are absolutely capable of those tasks. So as this gap continues to decrease, Emily Howe currently 1.6 seconds behind, with coming up to with 11 laps currently left on the board. This could potentially get very juicy very fast. So while we're going through this, I guess we'll talk about, just make sure we briefly mention the fantastic sponsors, of course, that we have. Of course, we want to say a huge thank you to Full Performance, Init Esports, who are hosting this event, Kelly Moss, Next Level Racing, Fanatec, iRacing, Recaro, Yahoo, and of course Pennzoil for their support of Screen to Speed. So thank you very much to all of those sponsors, and if you haven't done so, you can win some prizes and register as an ally using engagement points. More information is on the website, of course, that is www.screentospeed.com. That is www.screentospeed.com. So with that all said and done, Yvonne, going into these last 10 laps, I know you're watching a number of different drivers at the moment. Is there any battles that you're excited for that are currently building up at the moment?
I'm excited for the battle of the win, because I expect Emily to close the gap down for the last couple of laps, and then yeah, I'm excited to see that. I'm also excited to see the other drivers, because around Ruby Acosta at P5 to P6 till P8 is also quite close still, so yeah, it could be very interesting.
It could definitely be. I mean, Athena has dropped a little bit after setting some fastest laps, but right now, I mean, absolutely has a chance to still get involved. But Ruby Acosta absolutely leading that chain of Acosta, Gibson and Leclerc. Of course, the gap between Esmeralda Belmonal and Jewel Wolf is currently decreasing. That gap is only 0.4 of a second, if 0.3 of a second. So this one could get very spicy. So looking at this from a strategic standpoint, if you're Esmeralda van der Nald, you're going to want to make sure the Dutch driver, you're going to want to make sure that you are not focusing on Jewel behind you who's gaining on you. You're going to want to focus on Emily Howe in front of you and gaining that position. Your battle is ahead of you, not behind you. Because if you start worrying about battling who's behind you, you're going to start losing sight on the driver in front. And I think that's going to be an important thing that Esmeralda is really going to have to focus on. But if you're Jewel, you're going to want to be a massive pain. You're going to want to absolutely be right there, eating chunks into that lap time, and really showing Esmeralda in the back of in her rear mirror, hey, I'm here, I'm not going away, and I'm going to annoy you until the end of this race. Because at that point, that's going to give Jewel a really good chance of potentially pulling into the top three positions. That gap currently at the lead of the race now at the moment, though, is currently sitting in an incredible position. So right now, as we stand, it is Christina Ryan leading the way, but that gap that was once 3 seconds is no more. That gap is less than 1/10. It's less than 9. It's about 9 to 8 tenths of a second. Currently fluctuating between the two coming out of the corners. So Emily is eating into this lead as the race goes on. It is 14 out of 20 laps, 6 laps left to go of this incredible Las Vegas circuit. And right now, this battle is going to get very spicy before the end. We've seen these two battle in the past, and these two have been absolutely everywhere over the sim racing circles. We'll talk about Emily Howe. Of course, Emily Howe, former eNASCAR Peak College, former eNASCAR Peak Series engineer. Spent some time within the sphere. Has spent a lot of time involved in providing information for many individuals within that eNASCAR sphere. But also, of course, is one of the co-owners and the driver development lead for Prismatic Motorsports, the premier transgender and non-binary sim racing team. And of course, as well, incredibly fast, has been currently at the moment is racing in the Sim 3D GT series for Prismatic Motorsports Athena, and currently sitting in the championship lead of that series after 3 rounds. So really good stuff there from Emily with 2 wins on the bout, 2 wins out of 3 races here for that incredible set of drivers. So Emily is incredibly fast. Don't forget the fact that she is absolutely lightning quick in a NASCAR in oval racing, and has participated in many events, including many FTF events, and of course, more specifically, Winstell Gen 4 races as well. So as this gap comes down, we'll keep an eye on some of the other gaps and some of the other battles at the moment. That battle between Esmeralda van der Nald, and it looks like Roxy Gibson has had an issue a bit further there, and Athena Leclerc, the Canadian, currently, as they go past the line, has recovered to P7. Ruby Acosta, though, has managed to pull away, so it looks like all chips are on Athena in that battle at the moment, but it could be interesting to see what happens between Leclerc and Gibson. Haywood is currently sitting at about 3 tenths off of Wolf at the moment. So Olivia currently a little bit further back, but the 72 always has a chance as this race starts to get very dicey. Of course, Jewel right now not currently able to make those inroads in on Esmeralda van der Nald, but of course we've still got 3 laps to go and anything can happen. Esmeralda is winning that battle though, and it looks like Gibson and Leclerc are currently going at it. Or no, I think that was just the live timing board going a little bit haywire. But I think the big battle right here is coming into the final couple of laps. 3 tenths between them. I guess what we'll do is I'll bring up the driver inputs on screen at the moment to show what Christina Ryan at this time is doing with the wheel, trying to just drift that car. Definitely you can see there's some grip. There seems to be some grip. She's trying to pump the accelerator to just recorrect as the car loses, but Emily's going to start trying to bump draft here. without a shadow of a doubt, these two are incredibly, incredibly racy and always have been between one another, incredibly competitive. And it looks like Emily is going to do everything she can in the 83. This is the pressure I was talking about. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. And this is where it's going to get fun. And Emily Howe is going to try and go for a move on the inside and manages to just pull out of that gap. Christina Ryan making herself as wide as a battleship, but Emily's going to try and make another move. Emily goes, no, that's not going to work. Christina still takes the inside line, still has the lead after a few open door gaps. But Emily's going to try and close the gap here. Not going to be able to close the gap on this lap here. So certainly going on, but Emily gives a tap of the rear end. She lets go. She realizes, no, that's probably not going to work without both of us ending up in the pit wall. And it gives Esmeralda van der Nald a chance to get stuck in. So this is absolutely turning into a bit of a battle. And Emily Howe's going for the inside once again. Unknown, she's going to push to the outside. Nothing there. But Christina is just making this car as wide as it comes. And this means that Esmeralda van der Nald is now also in this battle. I mean, what else can you say, Yvonne? Crazy stuff here for the lead of this race, with only one lap left to go. No, I guess
I
looking
like
at
it.
yeah, I guess for me, chips on the board. Who do you think is going to potentially pull this move?
Well, I hope that Christina will hold it. That will be amazing if she can.
I mean, it would be massive. I mean, she finished P3 in the heat race, and now she's potentially on the verge of getting a fantastic performance win here. Christina is an incredible driver with great sense of understanding of track limits, and has done an incredible job. But Emily cannot be ruled out of this. Esmeralda has dropped back ever so slightly as these two have decided to go. I think Emily is going to try and size up a move, but Emily has to pull out because Christina is just parking her car in the corners, making sure that Emily has to pull back. Emily losing the rear end grip there, and it's Christina Ryan who wins this practice race, this feature race. What a win! And Christina absolutely doing donuts, understandably so. What a defense! Emily Howe had a lot of looks in there, but just could not make it happen. Esmeralda van der Nald finishing P3. Jewel Wolf, after a really rough heat race, comes back and gets P4. Olivia Hayward finishes P5. Ruby Acosta in P6. Athena Leclerc starting on pole, maybe not the result she would have wanted in P7. Roxy Gibson in P8. Garnet Collins in P9. Sish Fitzpatrick, of course, retiring earlier, P10. And Eris Aphelion, it finished in P11. What else can you say? What else can you say? That was an incredible battle. That definitely heated up. If Emily had a couple more laps, maybe she could have made that move. But Christina Ryan played it exactly how she should have. Just kept out of trouble and just kept the car where it needed to be. Incredible performance there from Christina.
Yes, it's incredible to see. I like it, even when you don't have the top pace like Emily does. You can still win because you just keep it on track, don't do a look up or big mistakes, and make the car wide. It's great.
Well, absolutely. It really was something else, and you could see that you could see how much was going into it. You could definitely, especially during those sweeping sections, this track, like I said, is very hard to really win on, and you can see Christina Ryan still going nuts in the infield there. I mean, I would do after that performance. That was very that was incredibly impressive. But yeah, I think this track is so easy to make incredibly wide, and you're just having to place your car in the right place and allow for the cars to just lean in. But what a performance. I mean, I'm so lost for words because it just genuinely was that impressive. And I mean, as I said, Van der Nald is looks like we're having a look, so we're going to pop over to get Christina. Okay, So it looks like, of course, we're going to have a interview with a few of the drivers. Of course, we'll start off with the race winner, Christina Ryan. How does that feel? What a race!
Yeah, it's pretty good. It was I made a mistake in the heat race a little early, and I went a little deep. And Emily did the same thing in the feature, but I was ready for myself to make the corner this time, and I'm surprised that she slid as much as she did too. It's really slick on the cold tires, but from there I just had enough of a gap, and it got a little hairy there at the end. I knew she was going to be trying to knock on the door a bit, but just tried to hold my nerve and ended up doing it. So um, yeah, really, really, if nothing else happens out of this, I won the practice race. So everybody knows Christina Ryan won the practice race. So
Well, I mean, in all honesty with you, I was sitting there and I was watching as Emily saw those gaps. You could see that she was trying to go for the inside, but as soon as I saw you take that wide line to just make that car as wide as possible, I was like, Christina, I think she's if she can keep this up, she's absolutely got this. Because, I mean, some of that car positioning was absolutely spot on.
yeah, it was a really tough battle. Me and her have battled, obviously, a lot. I think I don't know. I was trying to take care of the tires. I was trying not to get myself too overzealous. I was really using this as a pressure test, honestly, because I'm proud of how I handled the pressure today. I'm happy that we got the P1 at least here, so I have something to show for it. And I had a blast. It was really fun. These cars are really finicky, but that's why I like them. And may not have been the fastest, but I think I was the smoothest today. So happy with that.
You did absolutely everything you needed to do, and I guess Las Vegas is now coming up. How excited are you for that?
I've been excited since day one. Just yeah, it's really cool. A lot of people have been believing in me for a while, and a lot of people have really supported me to get to a point where I can take a stage like this and try and make everybody proud. So the fact that we went out and won the practice race, I know it's just a practice race, but I'm pretty excited about that. I'm really hyped for Vegas, and I'm hoping if nothing else, I'm just gonna enjoy it and have fun. I think that's the big thing, and I it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Big thanks to Steffi and Yvonne for putting it together, and at Esports they did. I mean, this whole thing is probably the coolest thing I'm ever gonna do in my life. So really, really happy to start off strong.
Well, of course. I guess Yvonne, are there any questions that you have of the race winner?
Well, I want to say congratulations because it was amazing to see you driving there. And we talked yesterday, and you were already very excited. And I already could you imagine in the sim rig, oh, excited when you won the race. So it's very good to see. Well done. And I'm looking forward to see you in Vegas.
Thanks so much. I can't wait. Let's do it again, yeah?
Yes, of course. It will be nice.
Well, we'll see what happens, of course. Best of luck to you, Christina. Of course, practice race winner. Can't wait to see what you can achieve in Vegas.
Thanks, babes.
Of course, next up, P2 in the race. Had opportunities to try and recover. I know the heat race probably didn't go the way she wanted, and I know that the start probably wasn't the best, but managed to recover to P2 and almost nab the win, but just Christina taking the edge. Of course, that was Emily Howe in the number 83 machine. Emily, how do you feel about that race?
Definitely wasn't a fan of the mistakes I made in the heat and then in turn one of the race, but overall glad that I did make it just because of the fact that I got the experience of being able to go back to the field and then pass some cars. Obviously we've done thousands of laps here, but we haven't done laps on track with other cars, so interesting to kind of figure out how to really get around people and set people up and be able to kind of figure out how to handle racing here.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely saw that. The rear tires. You just kept. It wasn't just you. It was a lot of other drivers, especially in the cold, as when they were stone cold. You just ended up losing the rear end every time, and I mean that sounds like it was absolutely a major challenge to have to get used to.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is just the fact that we were trying to charge that corner at speeds we really haven't gone into before. You know, obviously we have that run up during our laps, and then starting half down the straightaway, you really don't have your braking point set up there. So we get in a little bit too hot and then start sliding the tires when they're still rocks, and it's not a fun time. But overall, fun race of Christina. Definitely rough and tough Vegas battle, but he got that. You know, just couldn't really set her up to get around there. I needed another lap or two to really find her weak points.
Of course. Well, I mean, I will say though, you were absolutely electric off the line. How did you must have felt pretty good at first when you just flew past Athena. I guess the question is going to be how do you feel you can do in Vegas? Are there any learning points from this? And how are you feeling going towards the race at Vegas?
I just feel good about the pace. It's just, you know, really going to be a challenge, you know, qualifying and making sure you don't make mistakes off the line. I think that's going to be the most important factor. And then, obviously, you know, getting some practice behind the wheel in the sim there, because obviously it'll be new equipment, new setup, everything. So getting used to that. You know, everyone. It's kind of an unequal playing field here, where everyone's used to their home equipment and they're all in their comfortable spots, and then going to Vegas will all be in a new environment and in a new equipment, so it'll probably shake things up a lot depending on who can adapt to that the quickest.
Of course. I mean, that is going to be the battle. You know, we've seen it in many real-life series. As soon as the drivers end up in a brand new space, with new equipment, out of their comfort zone, in a live LAN event, things completely change. There are factors that no longer exist. I guess, Yvonne, do you have any questions for the second place finisher?
Not any questions, but I wanted to say well done. A very good recovery. So I'm looking forward to see you in Vegas and to see great battles from you there.
Yeah, can't wait to see y'all next weekend.
Well, with that, are there any thanks you want to give Emily before you go?
Obviously, gotta give big thanks to Pennzoil, Yahoo, all the sponsors, Ford, Kelly Moss for putting this event on, Yvonne and Steffi for all that they've done organizing it, you and the broadcasting team, all of Prismatic Motorsports for all the work they've done, and especially Christina Ryan, because that was a fun battle, very clean that me and her both had for the final 5 laps.
Well, thank you very much for that, Emily. I can't wait to see what you can achieve in Vegas, and I'll probably end up speaking to you later, because it's just a racing thing.
Thank you, Emily, and Esmeralda van der Naald is just in chat.
Perfect.
Hi.
Esmeralda, how did it feel to? You definitely had a rough heat race, but what a recovery in the final, in the actual the finale race. How did that feel?
Yeah, I was surprised. Yeah, for sure. I didn't know I could make up so many places because yeah, I ruined the first race by jump starting. So yeah, it's great to end up on the podium after that first race.
Well, of course, I know that your expertise is definitely towards is definitely more towards road racing, and I know you race quite a lot in ACC. So this must be a brand new challenge for you, not only to use iRacing as a sim, but also, from my experience, just how different these next gen cars, especially the Ford Mustang, must feel. What challenges have you found with that changeover?
Well, literally everything is a challenge with this car. The first time I practiced, I didn't know it wouldn't break. So I think my first 20 to 30 laps were just going off track everywhere. And I've gotten used to it now, thankfully. But it's a whole lot different because normally in iRacing, I drive the GT3 or the LMP2. And I've never driven NASCAR before. So yeah, everything is a challenge in this car. I mean, you can look up the brakes so easily. The thing doesn't break, and it's really difficult on such a small track to overtake as well. So yeah, it's a great challenge.
Absolutely.
Tough, but it is a great challenge.
Of course, and the one thing that I will obviously talking about this coming week, Vegas. Of course,
Yeah.
the excitement that you're going to be there, and you're going to be coming from further afield. Of course, the two drivers that finished ahead of you are going to be from the States, going to be from the same country. They're going over state lines. You're flying all the way from Europe. So how does that massive change feel? And how excited are you for these events?
I'm just very excited, and it's my first time flying as well, so I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, I'm more chill about it. We'll see how it goes. I'm already grateful to be there, and we'll see how it goes. If something goes wrong, there's nothing you can do about it. So I'm just gonna enjoy the whole trip, and we'll see what I can do.
Well, of course. I mean, it is absolutely fantastic to have that. To have that, and it's it's a fun experience of all the times to take your first flight for a sim racing event, one of the first of its kind of its kind for this kind of event. It's kind of crazy, kind of incredible. Yvonne, is there anything that you wish to ask the third place finisher?
Oh, well, I just wanted to say, after your first race, I saw the start and I saw the jump start, and I thought, oh no. And then you needed to start from the back the second race, but you didn't give up any second, also not in the first race. You just kept going. And well done and congrats for finishing on the podium today. And
Thank you.
keep it up. You're doing well and you're improving a lot. So it's great to see.
Thank you.
Well, with that said and done, of course, is there anyone you want to say thanks to before you head off, Esmeralda?
Well, definitely Init Esports, Pennzoil, and all the sponsors involved, because it's great to see that female who are a minority in sim racing. It's great to see that they're doing such an event. It will really put us in a spotlight, which I think is very good for sim racing as a whole, but also for young people watching who might want to get into sim racing, to see that there are events like this, and hopefully they'll think, let's try sim racing, and maybe we'll see them on the track in a few years' time.
Well, absolutely. We've seen plenty of real life examples do that, so I think it's an admirable goal. But listen, you've been absolutely fantastic, Esmeralda. Congratulations on the third place finish, and good luck going to Vegas.
Thank you.
So, Yvonne, with that all said and done, I guess for me the question is, how are your thoughts of this event?
Amazing, and I'm really looking forward in Vegas, because this is now all in their comfort zone, in their comfy rig, and the bass and pedals where they're used to, and that's all gonna be very different when they are on stage with a lot of people watching on a NASCAR track. Yeah, I'm very interesting to see what's gonna happen then. How are they gonna perform then? So it's gonna be very interesting, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Of course. Well, listen, it's definitely been exciting. I know I'm very excited. I knew this event would be fantastic, but of course, I guess we're going to talk about very quickly before we go the drivers that haven't competed today but will be there at the event. Of course, we forget the roster is made up of 15 different drivers. Of course, Martina Ward, Olivia Hayward, Saoirse Fitzpatrick, Emily Howe, Roxy Gibson, Christina Ryan, Athena Leclerc, Callie Bajan, Esmeralda Van der Nald, Jewel Wolf, Alu Gobi, Eris Felian, Garnet Collins, Ruby Acosta, and Hamish Eisner as well. So there are a few names there that haven't, of course, raced today, but they're going to have a chance to race for an incredible opportunity, some incredible prizes and incredible rewards. And so can you if you want to be involved and register as an ally. Of course, registering as an ally, plenty more information on the Screen to Speed website. You can use your social media platform to really show your support. And of course, the more you show your support, the more points you get, engagement points you get, the more likely you're going to win a prize. So if you haven't done so, make sure you register as an ally on www.screentospeed.com. That, of course, again, is www.screentospeed.com. Of course, I want to say a huge thank you to Init Esports, to Steffi and to Yvonne for not only putting on this incredible event, and all of that, but also allowing me to commentate and help with the broadcasting. I'm very proud that I was able to at least contribute to this event in some way, shape, or form. So thank you very much for allowing me to do that, Yvonne.
Yes, well, I want to say also there are 5 influencers racing: Eliza Indriani, Ariel Powers, Hillary Cow, Jenna Savage, and Trin. I'm sorry if I said any name wrong, but I want to say thank you for broadcasting and commentary today. You did amazing. I could have done it myself this way. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm glad to use my expertise for a fantastic cause. Of course, I'll say a huge thank you to all of the sponsors. Of course, Ford Performance, Kelly Moss, Next Level Racing, Fanatec, iRacing, Recaro, Yahoo, and of course the main sponsors for this incredible event, Pennzoil. Thank you so much for all of the hard work and effort and the support you've given this event. And of course, as we head into the main event, you can catch all of the broadcasting on the screen to speed socials, any updates, and of course you should be able to watch the event live on Inner Esports. Make sure you follow on Instagram and on Twitter at Screen to Speed to get more information as this week goes ahead. Well, with that said and done, it's been an incredible broadcast. It's been an incredible time just to show some of the talent. We hope that you enjoyed it, and we hope that you're excited for the big race and the big event in Vegas. Thank you very much. It's been Jamie Jessica Martin, joined in the booth with Yvonne Houffalard. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.